Test, test, test. We on? Oh, yay. Woo! Hey, everyone. Before I begin, I just want to pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging of the Gadigal Nation, of the Eora Nation. My apologies. I'm a Melbourneite, so I just wanted to make sure that I'm paying my respects to those that we are on their land. So thank you so much for being here. I'm just going to get a quick little refresher because I know I'm right before morning tea and I know everyone is wanting that second coffee, third coffee. So I'm just going to do a little quick selfie for mum. So if everyone wants to on this side of the room, put your arms up. Yeah, stretch. Let's go. All right, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Love it. And on this side of the room, everyone, hands up. Let's go. Woo, woo, woo! Nice. All right, I'm sure one of those are good. I get paid out about the way I take photos. Don't care, won't change. Love it. All right, internal links are so freaking awesome. They're so unbelievably powerful. What are they? They are literally all the links that inform the structure of your website architecture, the building blocks of the way that your site is constructed. It is so freaking awesome. I know I've got a lot to get through, but let's start with navigational links. These are your menu links, your footer links, your faster navigation. You've got your structural links, you've got your breadcrumb schema, and I just added contextual schema because of the relationship. It's kind of a link, whatever, I'm gonna have it there. Contextual links, your text links, your image links, your video links, your audio links. These are all the things that connect all of the things that you do and what you are and what you represent to Google. Ooh, my heart rate is going. But contextual links are what we're going to be talking about today because typically these are the things you can do. Who here uses Screaming Frog, by the way? Oh, great. So I'm with my people. Love that. But optimizing this is one of the most powerful things you can be able to do. It's a way that you can be able to present, be able to get a crawl and index, crawl, render, index, and rank all of your most relevant pages and informational content, your assets. And it's also what Google uses to be able to extract, thank you so much, Jess, for talking about Gemini, to be able to populate on the Google surface. So you really want to make sure that you're presenting your data in a way that is the most accessible and the most relevant. But if it's so impactful, why doesn't everybody do it, right? Oh, wow, okay, we can control this. We heard about digital PR, that's great, but it takes a lot of effort. So maybe we should focus on internal links. But if it's so great, why doesn't everybody do it? Because it takes so long to be able to research and add it, and where should you place it, and should I be doing it right? And I've heard that if we're not placing the relevant links on this page, it kind of bleeds out the authority, and oh my God, it's a bit of a minefield, right? So what I'm talking to you about today, oh, and it's also really resource intensive. Sorry, Simpsons memes for the win, right? But what I'm going to talk to you about today is basically scaling internal links using machine learning, and I'm going to be explaining to you how we did this, so you can also learn a little bit about the mechanisms of how it works and the natural language processing power behind it, so we can kind of get the concepts whilst I'm explaining this. So what defines a good internal link? Is it meaningful? Is it relevant? Is it diverse? Does it link out to lots of different types of pages? What is the anchor text? That is important. What is the natural placement within the embedded page content? That's what makes a really good link when you do all those things well. So we built on a framework of Python to be able to use machine learning to basically build our own crawler. So I love that people are woo, Screaming Frog, right? Well, Screaming Frog's amazing because when you have to try and rebuild it, you're how the frig do they do this every day? These people are geniuses. But basically, we built a crawler to crawl and extract things from your site. So the YAML file is really, really excellent because it will tell us a whole lot of things about, hey, let's just take all of the pages from your XML. Let's make sure that all of these URLs are actually indexable, status 200. Woo, there's no canonical tags on here. So we're actually just sourcing the things that we want to look at. Let's like maybe look at the crawl rate so we don't piss off all the people like with the server being like, what the frig is this crawling our site? We also want to do it in nice little randomization so it mimics human behavior. So again, we don't get 403s. Love that. And we're basically extracting all of that content and saving all of that HTML. Now, once we have this HTML, we want to do further extraction. I just want to be able to see the title tags, the description, the text, and I just want to see now my internal links. So I've also got everything, all the HTML, but I wanted further extraction because I want to use that. I want to extract all of the content. And the reason why I've got this little CSS class from Chrome DevTools Inspect is because we want to make sure that the content that we're wanting to use to actually like analyze is the body content from your blog or from wherever we're wanting to build these relationships, right? To build the models, to see what it looks like. And for this, we use the blog to be able to look at that. So that's the CSS selector. And then from there, now we've got all the internal links. We've got all the body content for just like all of the content on the site that we're wanting to extract, because we've now got that. And now we're going to build our own link graph based on what we see. And this is the way that we can be able to understand how well your data is actually accessible to Google search engines. This is literally what they see with nice visualization. Then we calculate the page rank. Page rank is bloody awesome. Yeah, Google came out in 2014 or something and said that they don't use it, but they still do it, just an amalgamation of, because the basis of it is all about how links are like all the relevant things pointing to it and from it. It is the assessment of how it distributes this well and how it is like distributing this link equity within your site. And we also use Search Console API because we want to get contextual data that is relevant to you. So we'll extract all of your Google Search Console. So this, we can now create a prioritization. If we're going to build potentially millions of internal links for you, where the frig do you start actually implementing that? This is a great little way of prioritizing all of that content. So basically, the model now looks like this. Now we've just extracted all the raw stuff. We've cleaned all the data. We've got the raw extraction just to be able to use that. Now this is the bedrock to build our tools from, which is where now we're going to be able to talk about some really, really cool tools like natural language processing, like BERT, bidirectional encoder representations from transformers. You might have heard this from reading search engine journal articles and things like that. All BERT is basically a way that we understand the content. Woo, technical difficulties. End show. Okay, great. All we mean to say is like, okay, now we've got the raw HTML. If we want to do that, we want to now basically say to the machines, hey, this is the content from your site. For the machine to understand this content, the machine has no idea about language, no idea about English, no idea about literally anything. We have to train this from scratch, hence machine learning. We have to feed it like Maggie, like the baby, and say like, hey, let us now create from all of your textual content, let's tokenize it and say like the word price, let's say price less. Price is one token, less is a second token. The reason why we call it BERT bidirectional is because it leaves it left and to right, so it gets the context. So now BERT is being trained on that content, and now it's starting to understand it from the content in the way that it is built, and then we build it into like its mathematical model in its vector. A vector is a magnitude and direction in multi-dimensional space. Bear with me, I know, like what the frig. I know, this is pre your second coffee of the day, but this is the way that machines build upon like understanding content so they can figure out what to do with it. This is actually the mechanism, and Google uses this. So it understands the semantic meaning of these words in relationship to one another. That's literally what BERT does, right? Now, BERT now figures out the semantic meaning, the context of these words in the way that it is from your content. Now, for us, we want to do something with that. Now, for us, we want to basically say, hey, we want to cluster all of these semantic meanings of words to other meanings of words on other pages and start to coalesce them into groups. And because they're vectors in multi-dimensional space, we have to use cosine similarity. And that's basically just like a fancy way of saying matching it, but in the multi-dimensional space. Yeah, cue the Marvel universe. So it can be able to find it. And now with this clustering, now we have nuts and gum together at last. If that is a real thing, now it's clustered those nuts and gum together. That's not real, but that's a Simpsons meme, so yay. Okay, now I've got clusters, like my clusters of related content based on literally what math tells us from your content or what it looks like. Now, how do we be specific within those clusters to build our link recommendations within these clouds of things? Now we use term frequency inverse document frequency. What the frig is that? All that means to say, from these clusters, what is the most important word that we are looking for, say duff, light, in all of the universe of duff. So we can find the good internal link to be able to link duff light to duff classic, right? Because it is in the same topic. This is what TF-IDF does, because it looks for the importance of that keyword within the sum of the cluster of those words. That's literally how we build an internal link recommendation. Cool. Not only that, we wanted to make this even cooler. There is an amazing thing out there called LabZ, which is language agnostic. So again, like I said, like BERT has no concept of language at all. We have to train it to understand it, right? We have to train it to be able to feed it and give it information and give it context. This is exactly the same about LabZ. And now we can say like, okay, we can do this for English very well, but we want to do it for German, Italian, with French, more language lists, right? And we've actually tested this with 12 different languages right now with one of the largest publishers in Europe to be able to build internal links, and I don't speak German. Results pending. I will show you what that looks like. This is literally like a representation of these clouds, and these are literally representations of the TF pulling out like these keywords and finding their matches. That's literally what it looks like. TensorFlow, guys. Woo! So again, going back to it, what defines a good internal link? Right now we've found these two associations. We found like some relevancy. Now we're wanting to think about diversity of this. Cool, because it's now like multiple pages. We're seeing all of these connections based mathematically on where they actually are within your content. But to make a good internal link, what about the other placements? Oh, by the way, this is the output. It's literally like the source URL pointing to the target URL, and we've also done some keyword extractions, 5 of them, so that you can kind of get a good guide. But like I said, with like what makes a good internal link, if you just give this to a team of writers and like, here are thousands of internal links, here's a prioritization, here's like 5 keywords, go. I've seen the look of terror on people's eyes. I get you, fam. We're gonna help you out. By the way, with LabZ, again, the order of this is a bit janky, but this is when I say like we tested this with 12 different languages for one of the largest publishers. This is literally what this looks like. This is a human evaluator going through and actually testing this against their writers and the way that they would actually find these links. And I'm pretty happy with these results. Again, this is in German. We do not speak German, except for Prost when we're like chinking beers. That's the only German I care to know about. So like I said, the writers are perilous with this tons of information. What the frig do we do, Nick? How do we do this? By what time will we do this? Do you realize it's almost my lunch break? How dare you ruin my life? Natural placement. So we designed BERT, Link BERT. And this is also a gift. We have made this free and available. You can literally Google it right now. There we go, there's the cameras. Yeah, take photos. Link BERT is awesome because we have trained it on 10 of the largest blogs in the world right now to basically learn how do they internally link. This is written by some of the best writers, award-winning journalists, and we want to see how they internally link their articles, like internally, externally. We want to learn all of that. So we've taken that, plus used Google's large case model, and this also extracts entities and billions of inference data points about the world. It's doing that far better than we ever could with our little CPUs and our little, like, tiny but expensive GPUs to be able to get this content. And it looks like this. That's what it looks like. ABC, right? Amazing. Like, when I look at, like, their internal link score, it's 0.02 out of 100 for their internal links. Fuck. Yeah, swearing is allowed. That's really kind of crazy. If I want to learn something more about the war in Gaza, I want to maybe go back and learn the history and learn the context. I have to get out of that page, go back to the search bar, and start again. Again, like Jess said, Gemini is doing this better, and you have to compete with Google for clicks. Frig, how do we do that? Maybe we need to internally link our systems better to connect people with information faster. This is what that looks like. So after Link BERT, now we have 14 internal link recommendations. Now we have an additional 6 external link recommendations to better cite your articles, to be able to get better recommendations for this article. ABC News, contact me. I realize I've like really gone back, so can we do a Q&A?
We have 5 minutes.
I have 5 minutes.
Yes.
All right, anyone want a question? Let's go, let's break the format. Yes?
I'll just try my mic so you give me 1 moment.
Is there a risk then you're just taking people off your site though, if you link to external sites?
Yes, but if you are giving a context to why, like if you're saying like, oh, there's a legislative change, link to the legislation, because at the same time, you're validating it to a real credible source. When we say what is good for the user, just ignore everything you've ever learned and just focus on what is good for the reader, for the user. Because if you're giving that context, that is valuable. But what we are not doing well is internal linking our own content and giving that source from all of the hard work that you guys have literally told all these copywriters to actually do. Love that question, that was awesome. Next question, yes.
Maybe it's a slightly off-topic question, but how do you retrofit old articles? Because obviously every time you add a new article, you increase that matrix.
We rerun the model.
Just rerun each time.
Yeah, rerun the model, absolutely.
Expensive or it kind of works out?
Well, we already have like all the data, right? We already have all of your stored HTML for not just internal links, external links, literally your entire HTML, which for a technical SEO is really great to see a cache version of your HTML from like 3 months ago. But to just do it again, we just basically rerun it, get all the new relevant like indexable links, and just add it to the model. It's very easy. It's very light to do that too. Yeah. Other questions? Yes?
Do you have any case studies of like putting this for a client or a test website? Or
Yeah, we're working on it. Great question. So we're working at the moment with Zendesk, and they're like very quickly like building all of these things right now to give us an amazing. We were supposed to go to MozCon with this, but I'm not going to say too much. But like MozCon is a little bit different in 2024. So now we're looking at the SMX stage to try and like showcase this study to the world. But yeah, you're getting like a good look, but yes. Yeah. Yes.
Slightly off topic.
Love that.
How do you envision the increase in using, deep link and internal linking to try and satisfy Gemini and tying that into the crawler index rank of paid campaigns where we're potentially being targeting specific links, specific keywords, which will influx? traffic based on our organic SEO.
Okay, so you've also...
So how do you, yeah, it's convoluted. I need more copy.
No, I love that. Okay, so let me just break down your question into small steps. When I talk about data accessibility, I literally mean what are you making available for a crawler to come through, pass, and see all of your content, right? That is what I'm kind of talking about. Like, think of your site like the blueprint of your house, and you wanting to see like all of the framework of the way that the house has been built. You want to show all of the wire connections. You want to expose as much as possible to be like, I'm really freaking proud of my house and all of the rooms and all of the things I put in it. I want you to see as much as possible. So when you're talking about really good houses, I'm up for better consideration because look, I just like totally renovated my backyard, guys. I've also totally renovated my bathroom. I want you to see everything. For a paid campaign, this is basically wonderful because you can kind of inform of what people are clicking on that is like costing you money, but also what people are interested in. This costs us money. So we may as well recycle this information to be able to get something meaningful from that. This can also inform what content you don't already have because LinkBERT doesn't care about you or anything. It just cares about where is most natural place to link on a page. So for an outreach campaign, this is very helpful because it's now saying like, based on the content I am presented, this is the most likely place a link should be. Doesn't matter if it's internal or external, this should be. And you as the discerning thinking mind makes the assessment and thinks what should come from there. We're just basically also building like thousands of internal links potentially of what is good. And it can be done for like 100 pages, 100,000 pages. 200,000 pages, doesn't matter. Just really, how big is our storage budget? But I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah, it's just thoughts on how it would kind of
marry the two together.
Kind of
Yeah.
marry together with organic, and then potentially we're steering traffic in a paid sense.
Yeah.
How is that going to be trawling through our organic sites?
Yeah.
If we're potentially directing traffic elsewhere.
Well, see, elsewhere. Do you mean like landing pages built specifically for paid? Yeah.
So like when clients go like, hey, we're doing like a microsite, for example, that's already in.
What is the point?
Yeah.
What is the point? You build beautiful pages for paid search because it's user-friendly, and then you say to the SEO, here's your dog shit. Do something with it. Give me rankings. In what world does that make sense? Make better content pages that work for both. Because SEO, I'm so sick of this. I was up till 2 a.m. arguing with my best friend about this. This is why my heart rate is terrible today. SEO is not a small department kicked into a corner to say, like, this is what is important for you. SEO is search engine optimization. Yeah, search engine optimization. That is everything. That is the audacity that I use when I kick down the doorroom and be like, UX, let's go take lunch. Dev team. So have you seen like the latest episode of like, what did you think? Let's talk. I want to be BFFs with everybody. Amanda King was a really, really amazing person who like within her own role, made friends with everybody because she knew she just wanted to get things done because a good SEO doesn't care about definitions or boundaries. They supersede them because search engine optimization is everything. Thank you.